And we are back as we continue with today's entrepreneurs. My special guest is John Dupuy, President and CEO of Oaktree Ventures, Inc. Once again, welcome to the show, John.
Thank you, Janet.
We are really into now what you're doing at the moment, because the present with John Dupuy is pretty filled, but you've also done a lot in terms of writing books, which also apply to what you're doing today. He's the author of 3 books, as a matter of fact, and I know you wanted to start with Strategies for Success, which is how to carve out a niche in the marketplace when it comes to business, your business, how to dominate the marketplace and then grow, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's really key because at the turn of this new last century, business forever has been changed. It's not like we used to do it. It's because of the advent of the internet and the web, high technology, and the people in all of the companies that have grasped that technology and enhanced their business using it have succeeded. And those that have not have fallen by the wayside. So that's the difference in today. And so we look for companies today to finance that have grasped the way to develop their company and grow in the marketplace.
And as you say, everything changes so quickly, you have to keep up. Otherwise, you're behind the 8 ball and you lose out. So again, you help companies prepare themselves to raise the capital. And basically, your books contain information that will help people do just that. What do you do, though, as an entrepreneur? Because it's tough to raise money, especially with the economy. It's growing, it's building, it's coming back, but it's got to be quite a challenge to help companies find the money they need to grow.
Well, it is a challenge, and you take most companies that have carved out a niche in the marketplace to dominate it. And I mean dominating a niche is not catching 2 or 3% of some world market. I mean capturing 30 to 40% of a niche market. For example, we had a company in Los Angeles called Fred Rothenberg and Associates, and they're in San Fernando Valley, and they have a medical information system software package operating on this old Clipper platform. And they were in the capitated market, which means they're in the healthcare business. And they were going head to head with IBM on the East Coast. And they were in fee for service. And they were stuck at about $1.5 million in sales. And so I said to them, why don't you just dominate your niche in Los Angeles and forget about what's going on with IBM on the East Coast? And they said, well, how do we do that? And I said, well, how many potential customers are there for you in LA County? And they said, we don't know. I said, well, figure it out. So they counted, they had 125 potential customers. And I said, how many of them do you have as a customer now? They said 6. I said, okay, when you've captured 25 to 40% of them, you'll dominate that niche. Well, 15 months later, I had them keep track of how many times they were winning versus losing, going head to head with the competition, and that was amazing because they were winning 7 out of 10 times and they hadn't realized it. So that was a powerful sales point for them. Well, they doubled in size, and Fred Rothenberg said, John, sell my company. I said, well, how much do you want for your company? He said, I think $3 million. I said, well, how did you figure that? He said, well, that's our sales. I said, wait a second. I think it could be worth a lot more than that. Let's do a corporate valuation. Let's value this enterprise to see what it truly is worth, using all the proper mathematical algorithms to do that. And so my firm did that, and we valued it at $12 million. And Fred Rothenberg said, John, you'll never get $12 million for my company. Well, 6 months later, we got JP Morgan to give him $8 million cash for 40% of his company. So they had valued it at $19 million. And so that was a big win in valuation.
I'll say, it's amazing these companies don't think like you think. That, I mean, you're coming up with answers for them that they probably should have on their own, but then again, that's why you do what you do, and that's why you provide the service that you do, right? So you're looking at these companies to help them build capital, and I know you say there are like a few secrets to finding investors, right? Are there 5 secrets?
Well, there are 5, and you know, you can go to a venture capitalist, you can go to family and friends, you can go to broker-dealer, you can go to different ways that way to finance your company. But if you go to a venture capitalist when you don't have any earnings per share, they're not going to even touch you. And if you go to family and friends when you don't have hardly anything, they're probably the only people you can go to. So you want to kind of grow slowly until where you can get to where you're. The key is what we call EPS, earnings per share. So if you can do 10 million in sales and make $1 million, and you got 10 million shares outstanding, you get 10 cents a share earnings, and it trades at 20 times, that's $2 a share. That's not a bad value.
Not a bad value. So we talked a little bit about your past in the last segment. We're talking now about your present. How much have you grown over the years in terms of where you are today?
Well, we have an interest in many companies that we help and we assist and we coach. And so that's really where we make money as well. And ideally, the most sophisticated way to participate in the free enterprise system is to become a public company. Well, guess what? There are 25 million companies in America, and 8% of those companies will be startups. And guess what? 8% of those won't make it. And so what happens with these 2 million companies that do not succeed in the United States each year? Well, there's a reason for that. The first reason is because they are undercapitalized. The second reason is because they have developed no barriers to entry. And the third reason is because they don't have any management in the company to carry it forward.
So basically, you're the man who has these answers
Yes.
to carry them forward.
Or you can find out in my book.
Which one? Now
Gaining
you've got
the
3.
Edge.
Gaining the Edge. Gaining the Edge is about how to finance your company,
Yes,
right?
exactly.
Okay, and that's what you do. So people call on you to this day to help them finance their companies and lead them in the right direction so they can ultimately succeed in a myriad of ways, I guess, to either sell their company, continue to grow their company, whatever it is, right?
Well, I can give you an example of something that happened recently. We had a company that was a former client of ours come to us about 2 years ago and say that I want to finance a company in the LED lighting space, which I like. I think that you can save money with lights that have a computer chip in them rather than the old technology. Then I think it's a good way to go. So, but they didn't have any money and they couldn't grow. And so we got a family member to give them $850,000 to develop the strategy. And then we found a company to merge with them that was doing 10 times, it was like Jonah swallowing the whale, that wanted to sell their company. We bought them.
Well, I can see what you're doing here. You're really helping a lot of people make a lot of money, so we have to talk after the show. All right, John Dupuy, President, CEO of Oaktree Ventures, Inc., a boutique investment firm. And when we come back right here on Today's Entrepreneur, what John is doing next, the future. Stay with us.